Dear learners, welcome to the counseling session of Indira Gandhi National Open University. I am joining from IGNOU Study Center 2504, Bishop Weaver College. We will continue with the session on BEGAE 182 English Communication Skills. Let me share my PPT. So in the beginning, in the previous session, in the last counseling session, we discussed the basics of communication, right? What is communication, the need for communication, the barriers to communication, and how the communication cycle works. And communication and social change, speech and conversation, all those differences we discussed. So we will continue with the presentation skills. After body language, we will continue with the presentation skills. And what is the importance of presentation skills? In an organization, you will have a meeting, or you will have a speech. You have to organize things in a team, as a group. Everywhere you have to present something. You have to make a PowerPoint presentation, or you have to make a speech. So how important it is in an organization, and how you can impress the other person, your boss or your colleagues, and how you can make it effective. Only if the group is effective, the organization will grow and it will be successful. And for that, communication is important. And we saw that communication is the lifeblood of any organization. So coming to the presentation skills and what do you need, what are the important things you should keep in mind while doing a presentation. First impression, whatever you say, the first, okay, attracts. You can begin with a quote, okay, or you can begin with some famous statements to impress, or something related to the content you are speaking. That is very important. Make a first impression, whatever you begin with, how you begin with, okay. It is important that how you say is important than what you say, right? So the way you say it is very important. First impression is very important for a presentation. Good posture. You have to be confident, stand straight. You should give a positive body language to the audience, right? And you have to see, look in the audience eyes, in the colleagues, in your colleagues. If you are in a team, you have to look to them and speak to them. Don't see the ceiling or maybe downward. If you are nervous, you tend to see downward, right? We should avoid that. We should speak with eye contact. That is very important. But not too much of eye contact. If you stare somebody continuously, and that is intimidating, you should not do that. But you should have a good amount of eye contact while doing a presentation. See, all these things are some of the cues of presentation you should keep in mind in order to make your presentation effective. And voice, you should reflect a confident, loud, clear voice, and you should not be monotonous, right? You should have the pitch and intonation in your conversation, the rising intonation and falling intonation. You should not sound boring and monotonous. Where you have to give stress, you have to give stress, right? Where you have to lower your voice, you have to lower your voice and give an effect. And that itself is a great art of speaking, right? Modulating your voice. And in English, in linguistics, we used to study about the intonation, rising intonation, falling intonation, okay, at the advanced level. But naturally, you can acquire the voice and speak with rising and falling intonation with a rhythm so that it attracts the audience. You can develop that by practice. You can develop that. And be interested and enthused, right? If you are not going to be interested and enthused in what you're going to speak, then the audience who is listening to you will not be interested, or the group members you are working with will not be interested. So if there is a boss or an employee, whatever he wants to convey, he should be interested in that, and he should be enthused about doing something for the company or the goals or the objectives he has in mind, right? Or the proposal he has in mind. So be enthused and interested always. And that mindset will set the tone for your presentation, will make the presentation positive, okay? And people will be interested to listen to you. So that is very important. So presentation skills, first impression, good posture, eye contact, voice, be interested and enthused, and the human element, okay, that connects you to the audience or to whom you are speaking, right? Whatever, if you are giving a speech or you are talking to your team members, you should have that human element in you. Don't be always too formal, okay? Try to connect with everyday events or related to some events or some happenings in the company. Okay, bring that human element in your conversation. That is very much interesting and powerful, and it will reach any audience, okay, successfully in an effective manner, right? That is very important. So keep in mind the presentation skills and what you have to do in order to make your presentation effective. The 3 P's: preparation, practice, PowerPoint, right? You have to prepare well whatever the content of the presentation you are going to do, and you have to practice it, okay, a couple of times, and using a PowerPoint. As I am using a PowerPoint, right, you will feel comfortable, okay, if you use a PowerPoint, and you can be organized in your presentation, right? These are some of the tips I would like to give in order to make a successful presentation. I think the screen is not visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right, these are the points. Presentation skill. Can you see the PowerPoint? Is it visible now? Yes.
Yes, sir.
The presentation skills, preparation, practice, and PowerPoint. First impression, good posture, eye contact, voice, and be interested and enthused, and human element. Okay, connect with the human element in your presentation. Group discussion. Next, we are going on to group discussion. Right, GD is part of any recruitment process. There is always, most of the companies, they select candidates using a group discussion. Okay, it tests you what it can do in order to select a candidate, how it is useful, right? How employers use this as a tool to select candidates, okay, for any organization, and what they look for, right? Using a GD, what you can assess in a person, right? So interviewer look for knowledge and awareness about the topic. So in group discussions, generally you are given a topic and you are asked to speak on that, and they test your creative aptitude and your ability to work as a member of a team, right? Ability to work as a member of a team, whether you are able to work with a team, whether you have that mindset, right? Ability to lead a team, whether you are having leadership qualities, okay? They will test all those things using a group discussion, especially as an opinion leader. So each one will give opinions in the group discussion, okay, and whether you should be allowed to, okay, speak, or whether you are making the other person to speak, okay, or are you allowing the other person to speak? Are you listening to their opinions, okay, or you are pushing your own opinions? All these things will be noted by the interviewer. So you cannot be an authoritarian always, right? You have to listen to other people, other people's opinions, your team members, your colleagues, okay? Consider their opinion, okay? Considering all the opinions of the team members, you have to take a decision when it comes to any matters in an organization. So they will see to that whether you have the team spirit, right? Can you share some more, maybe you would have studied or come across anything about group discussion that you know, or conferencing skills? What is conferencing skills? Can you comment in the chat box? Or about group discussion? What you should do in a group discussion, what you should not do in a group discussion, something like that, right? What is conferencing skills? You can comment in the chat box if you are aware of that. Yeah, Shiva says skills that require to make a conference, right? What are the things that you require to make a maybe a successful conference, or what you should do maybe in order to plan a meeting or a conference? What are the skills you need, what you need in order to conduct a conference successfully? Can you say a few points, what are the things you need, or how you have to plan a meeting or a conference? Making the audience interactive, that's good. How you will make a conference or a meeting successful, how you will plan for it, what are the things that are required? It's general, you can answer. Clear and short presentation, right? First of all, you need good communication skills, right? In order to chair a meeting or a conference. Content should be precise, clear, right? What you want to convey to the participants, the audience, or the group members, you should be short, clear, and precise. Then, anything else? Good, Vignesh, Mohammed, and Champion. You can rename your names with your official, okay, names. If your name is the name of a mobile phone, or if you have any other names, please rename your names with your official names, okay? Vignesh Balamurugan, interactive rather than monotonous, right? Time management. And you should be able to plan an agenda, okay? Make a welcome address, right? Maybe you should manage the group members and give them time to speak, okay? Communicate properly without any grammar mistake. Communication skills is important. And you have to present, okay, the report or annual report or whatever it may be. Prepare a report, all these things, okay? Planning for a meeting, preparing reports, okay? Giving welcome address, giving vote of thanks, okay? Maybe time management, as you said, very good. And you have to give time for each and every one to speak in a conference, in a meeting, okay? How you are able to manage as a leader, okay? Are you able to express your opinions in a meeting? Are you allowing others to express opinions? Right? All these things are very important as part of the conference skills. Right. We'll move on to the purpose of group discussion. So the interviewer conducts a group discussion, or in any organization for that matter, group discussion is very important, right? In our college, we used to discuss a lot regarding planning the lesson plans or regarding criterion work, right? We are going to have an acquisite in 2022. We are planning for that, maybe for the past 2 years. And regularly we used to meet and discuss about the various criterions we have: teaching, learning, research, graduation outcomes. Okay, all these things are part of our discussion. It is part of our work, right? And for that, maybe if you take a multinational company or any organization for that matter, will have to meet as a group. Only if you work as a group, you can achieve a lot, right? So group dynamics are part of any organization, right? It is not possible for anybody to discuss things, okay, maybe decide things individually. You have to do things as a group, and with that you can achieve a lot, right? Any organization will have many workers and groups in order to achieve various targets, right? Each group will have certain objectives or certain tasks to do, and they have to complete that on time. So group and group dynamics are part of every organization, and that is why it is very important to discuss about group discussion and what interviewer looks for and what they do using this group discussion. What is the purpose of that? We'll see. Maybe what is the outcome of group discussion. So group discussion helps us to generate ideas, summarize things, okay, assess the levels of skill and understanding. And if there is a complex situation, okay, with regard to a company, and to review a situation, okay, or take decisions appropriately. All these things are purpose of group discussion. And process learning outcomes of a session. Compare and contrast theories, issues, and interpretations, and brainstorm applications of theory to life. So only when you discuss, only when you brainstorm, you will generate new ideas. You will generate new ideas for the company. So that is why if you just think for yourself, most of the time you will not get the solution, right? If you work with people, right? If you work with people, then you can achieve a lot. You will get new ideas to work with. So that is why we always say, right? United we stand, right? United we stand, divided we fall. Just like that, you should always do things together, and with that you can achieve a lot. Okay, when you do things together, you can achieve a lot. I just want to show you a short video. If you can see the screen, and let me know if the audio and video is clear. Yogesh says group discussions are an important aspect of group communication. Very good. They are a creative, dynamic activity which stimulates thinking, reflective thinking. Very good. Brainstorming, all those things. It may be defined as an activity in which small number of persons meet face to face and exchange, share ideas, and they attempt to reach a decision. Very good, Yogesh. For a common issue, whatever it may be. So good body language is also important. Just watch this short group discussion, a sample group discussion of how things are going in a
make your writing clear and concise, no matter where you are.
Is audio and video audible for you? Is it clear? Is the audio
Yes,
and
sir.
video clear?
Both are clear. Both are clear.
Thank you, sir.
Writing and compelling word choice.
Hi, my name is Rebecca, and in today's lesson, you'll learn how to participate effectively in a discussion in English, something you may need to do in your personal, professional, or academic life, okay? Now, the topic we'll use as our sample is this one. Is it better to study online or in a regular classroom? Okay? You'll have a chance to hear a discussion by native English speakers on this topic. What I'd like you to do is listen for any special expressions and phrases that they use during the discussion. Afterwards, I'll review the expressions and phrases with you. Okay? Now, today I have some special friends who have agreed to help me with this lesson, and they're waiting in the classroom next door. So let's go and say hello to them.
Hello.
Hi. How are you? Well, look who's here. It's
Ronnie.
Alex.
Hey.
Adam.
Thank you for joining me, and thanks for helping me with this lesson. No problem. So you know we're talking about discussions, and the topic is it better to study online or in a regular classroom? Okay, who wants to go first?
Okay, so I'll start. And I think that it's actually very good to study online because it's a great convenience because you can study whenever you want and at your own pace. And for example, someone like me, I like to study at night. So for me, online works better because it's quiet at night, no one disturbs me, I can do what I need to do.
That's true, but if you're going to study online, you need, please let me finish. As I was saying, that's true, but if you're studying online, you need to motivate yourself. So I think it's better to be in a classroom where you have other students and a teacher motivating you.
That's true, but some people can go to the and universities to actually go to school. So studying online, you can actually do it for free.
Yeah. Soft skills. That's not usually talked about in school, but when we talk about soft skills, is actual interaction. Utilizing English with other people. That's hard to get on because we're watching the school and actually interacting with other people.
You make a very good point, but I would also like to add that sometimes having classmates takes you away from your focus because you have to maybe review things many times or to catch up, or you have to do topics that are interesting to other people and to yourself. So it's a little distracting sometimes.
However, focus is a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing to repeat because sometimes people like catch material the first one. That way you go over the material and you get when you get done. So you get to work more, and people who don't understand it, the opportunity to ask questions.
Yeah, but sometimes the resources that you get is not classroom. Online, you just look up like every media management, and you better put it. You don't have to rely on it.
Don't get me wrong, I mean, there are good resources on the internet like Edwin.com. However, did you say Edwin.com? I did say Edwin.com.
Me too.
I'll check it out. Anyway. As I was saying, don't get me wrong, I think they're excellent resources. However, some students who are just for the first time might not know how to judge the quality of resources. So I think if you go to school, if you're inside the classroom, you're with a teacher is a professional who can give you the resources you need to improve.
Well, it's a good thing you said about professional resources.
Edwin.com.
We all have professional resources ready to see too. So in conclusion, in a nutshell, we just sum up and say that studying online or in classroom everyone.
all right. Thank you very much for your answer. So now I'll review some of the phrases and expressions that you heard in the discussion.
I think that it's actually very good to study online.
I think is used when you're going to express your opinion. You could also say I believe and so on. Okay?
That's true, but if you're going to study online, focus is a good thing.
Yeah, but sometimes the resources that you get in the classroom.
Okay, these three phrases, that's true, but, or however, or yeah, but, are used, what do you think? They're used when we want to contradict what someone else has said, when we disagree with what someone else has said. Okay, next.
You make a very good point, but I would also like to add that sometimes having classmates takes you away from your focus.
You made a good point, but I'd also like to add is a very nice expression. It shows that you recognize the contribution that someone else has made to the discussion in the first part, and you're also going to add your own opinion, which is different from what the first person said. Next.
If you're going to study online,
Sorry, but
you need.
Sorry, but, which Ronnie says, or may I say something, which James said, are two different ways in which you can interrupt a discussion. You see that the first one was purposely done for you, not in a very polite way, to show you how not to do it. And James says, may I say something, which is a very polite way to enter a discussion. Next.
sorry, but
You need. You let me finish.
Please let me finish, is a very nice way to hold the floor. What does it mean to hold the floor in a discussion? It means to establish your position as the speaker, all right? So someone else is trying to interrupt, but you want a chance to finish whatever argument you're presenting. So you say, please let me finish, okay? Very nice. Next.
As I was saying, that's true. But if you're studying online,
As I was saying, is used when you're returning to your, to speak, to whatever you were saying, when someone has interrupted you. Okay, it's a way of saying, okay, now I'm talking again, as I was saying. All right, next.
don't get me wrong. I mean, there are good resources on the internet.
Alex uses "don't get me wrong." Now, this is an interesting expression because when we say this, what we're saying is that I've been explaining something, I've been presenting a certain point of view, but I do understand that there is another point of view, and I accept that, and I understand that. However, I do still have my opinion. So we use that when we are taking into account the other opinion as well. Next.
so in conclusion, in a nutshell, can you just sum up and say that?
Okay. The last three phrases were used by Ronnie to end the discussion. So in conclusion, in a nutshell. In a nutshell, this means in short. Or can we sum up by saying? Can we sum up means can we summarize? All right? So that's a nice way to including everyone in it. It's not as if one person is deciding to end the discussion. She's sort of asking everyone's permission by saying, can we sum up by saying? Okay? I hope this lesson has given you a number of different expressions that you can use when you're taking part in the discussion. Okay.
Hope you learned a lot from this video. Right, it is self-explanatory, and hope you observed the attitude of the speakers in the group. Right, each one, how they put their views. Right, what are the expressions they used? Are you able to note all those things in a group discussion, and how that lady interrupted in between, and how the person who said, "May I?" Okay, put my opinion. That's a good way of interrupting. Okay, saying your point. All these things. Hope you observe the cues and the attitude of each member in the group and how they contributed to the discussion and successfully discussed a lot of ideas regarding online learning, right, for and against. So that is how a group discussion should be. Right, we'll move on to the next part. Preparing for meetings. So meetings, any organization, will have a meeting, will chair a meeting, right, for various purposes. There will be a chairperson, the manager, or the boss. And in a meeting, you'll have an agenda, what they are going to discuss about, right, regarding the budget or regarding the work plan and the target which a company has decided to. All these things will be part of a meeting, depending on the nature of the company and what they are discussing. And what is the purpose of a meeting, right? Can anyone say just one or two points about the purpose of a meeting? Why do you meet? And what do you get out of meetings? And sometimes we jokingly say, right, meeting and eating, right? We meet and eat, and sometimes it does not serve the purpose, right? We created, right. Yeah, if you want to join this group, you can also join. Darshan Kannan has, and we are also created a group. I have created a group. Maybe if you want to join those RC Chennai students, I've created a group, I think. If you want to join, you can join. Right, coming back to this meetings. What is the purpose of meetings, and can anyone give you points on meetings? For formulating plans and policies, very good. Shahira Bano. So they have to, yeah, in the starting stage, they have to plan policies, formulate plans. Work plan should be there every year, right? What they are going to do. Upcoming ideas can be discussed, and they can create new ideas as well. That's all. Any more points? A well-managed discussion, right? Be a good listener. Listen to everybody in the meeting. Don't interrupt unnecessarily, right? Sometimes people have the personal grudges or maybe misunderstanding with their colleagues, and they try to interrupt and spoil the meeting. It happens in some organizations. You should not do that. In a professional setup, you have to be professional. Whatever differences you have, differences of opinions or personal grudges, you should not, okay, show that in professional settings. You have to be professional in meetings. Be an active participant. Maintain meeting decorum. That's very important. And resolve conflict, right? If there is conflict of interest, conflict will be part of every organization, right? You cannot be peaceful, okay? You cannot be peaceful. There will be some issue or the other every day, and that's your challenge, and how you solve it matters, right? You can solve it. If people come together and discuss, things can be solved, right? And there is a meeting, a short meeting I will show you that's happening and how beautifully they are carrying on discussions. Can you see and hear? I hope it is clear, right?
Marcus White is the managing director of Quartz Power Group, an energy company. Every month, the departmental managers meet to discuss high-level issues in the company. Marcus is leading this month's meeting.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being here on time. We've got a lot to do.
If there is any trouble, please let me know.
Now, everyone's here apart from John in facilities, but we have apologies for them. Has everyone got a copy of the agenda? Good. Okay, can I draw your attention to item 4, where it says presentation of online survey results. The presentation is going to be given by Ms. Patricia Reyes, who is a representative of the research company we contracted to carry out the work. Now, Ms. Reyes will arrive at 11:30. So I plan to break at about 11:15 to give her time to set up. It may also mean that we need to interrupt the first few agenda items, but we'll come back to those. And lastly, I'd like to leave a little bit of time under any other business to discuss whatever might come out of the presentation. Okay, so item 1 is relocation and plans for flexible working. Now, as you know, Paul and his team have been working on plans to extend flexible working hours across the company. So, Paul, perhaps I can begin by asking you to fill us in on your progress.
Sure, thanks, Marcus. Well, it's Marcus.
Thank you very much indeed, Paul. I mean, on behalf of everyone, I'd like to say thank you to you and to your team for all the hard work that you put in so far on this project. I really appreciate it. Before we move on to item 2, are there any comments anyone has, anyone would like to make on item 1? No? Maya, I'm aware that flexible working hours has a particular impact on some of your team. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, from my point of view, what Paul is proposing sounds fine. I am a bit concerned about working with the system of core hours and then flexible hours, but I think we all need time to read through Paul's proposal in more detail before discussing it any further.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. And what do other people think? And do you agree with Maya that we need to look through the proposal in more detail first? Yes? Okay, right, well, I'm sure we can return to it at next month's meeting. Okay. Good. Are we all okay to move on to the next point? Right, so the up and coming board meeting. Now, we don't need to spend too much time on this, but there are 1 or 2 issues which we need to be aware of. Lydia, can you warn me if we go beyond 10 minutes on this one? So those 2 people will be replacing the 2 members of the board who are leaving us. And that's everything, I think, on item 2. So right, moving on to item 3 and the cost breakdown for the relocation. Now, Maya, thank you very much for emailing the current figures to all of us. I hope that we've all had time to look at them, to read them through. Maya, is there anything that you want to add before I open this up for questions?
Not really. Nothing's changed since it was sent out, as far as I know.
Are there any questions arising from Maya's report? Matt, you look as if you might have a question.
Yes, I suppose I do. Well, it's more of a comment, really. The fact is, IT will have the highest costs attached to this relocation in terms of moving equipment, and I'll also need to bring quite a few contract people to help. But the figures in here don't seem to be the same as the estimates I gave you. It's all going to require a lot of overtime in my department.
Well, I have allocated some of the costs to the budgets of other departments. That seems the fairest way to do it. Otherwise, as you say, IT is responsible for a large part of the relocation costs.
So do you mean any IT cost related to, say, marketing will be covered by the marketing budget?
Yes, in a way. Look, this might help clarify it. You see, I've broken the IT department up into segments.
Oh, I'm sorry, can we continue this discussion after lunch? The lady from the research company is waiting to join us and to present her results. But before we take a break, I just want to summarize where we are so far. Now, my understanding is that Maya has tried to allocate the relocation costs across departments as far as is possible, but that Matt feels that IT is still taking too many costs. Is that right?
That's about right.
Good. Okay, let's take a break now, and can we all be back here promptly?
That's a professional way of conducting a meeting, right? Hope you saw a lot of compliments. appreciation, right? All these things, the professional way of conducting a meeting, right? Hope you enjoyed the video. Right, we'll continue with reading. Okay, reading skills and how important it is, okay, to develop our communication skills. Reading as a process, reading for comprehension, and reading for information and knowledge, and reading for pleasure. Experiential reading, skimming, scanning, and intensive and extensive reading. So I just want to ask, what is the purpose of reading? Why do we read? Can you just answer? What is the purpose of reading? And why do we read? To gain more knowledge, to sync up daily updates, right? That right? Knowledge. So everybody just reads for knowledge alone. Okay. To communicate important action items to teams. That's good. Skills. To gain, okay, improve our language. That's right. I was talking to you about developing a reading habit and read what you love, right? In the last session. Improving vocabulary, very good. And nobody said reading for pleasure, right? Of course, reading for information, reading for knowledge, and we also read for pleasure. We read storybooks, novels, poems, right? All those things are part of reading for pleasure. So reading as a process. Reading for comprehension, you understand, you comprehend something. You read for gaining information, knowledge. You read for pleasure, as I said. Experiential reading. You read it, okay, read a story or read and try to experience whatever given there, okay, an experiential reading. And you read it aloud, okay, and experience for yourself the book or the story or by your imagination. Hope you know what is skimming and scanning, right? Skimming, you just go through certain important lines in a paragraph and you try to, okay, skip the paragraphs. Scanning, you scan just the entire passage speedily. Intensive and extensive reading, right? Intensive reading, you just focus on a particular topic, the given text, and you read it aloud. Intensive reading. Extensive reading, you read a lot from various sources, right? And you try to extensively read and understand, okay? Extensive reading, intensive and extensive reading. So some difficulties in learning English vocabulary, right? These are some of the things you should know. In English, one word has many meanings. Club, okay? Club, club, club. See the different types of meanings. Association of people, heavy stick with a thick end. Another club means heavy stick with a thick end. Another club, it means one of the four suits in a conventional playing cards. So a word with many meanings, but the same spelling, it is called as homonyms. Okay, you should know these things. Same sound with different form and meanings. Great, great. Break, break. Bow, bow. Right? Hope you know the difference. Bow and bow is branch. Okay? Bow, it means going down or the other sense. Break, 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 or break the car or the vehicle brake. Great, great. In order to put it minutely, you grind something great. Great is something that is so great. Okay, G-R-E-A-T, great, you say, and great. See the same sound but different form and meanings. That is homophones. Same form, different sound and meaning. Same sound, different forms and meaning is great, great, break, break, and bow, bow. Here another same form, different sound and meaning. Right? Minutes. Right? You have to write minutes for the meeting. You have to record all the happenings in a meeting. That is minutes. Minute. Okay, the sound is different, but there is form is same and meaning. And these are called as homographs. Different sound and meaning, but same form. Homographs. Right? Minutes, minutes, and minute. So homonyms, homoforms, and homographs. Keep that in mind. So coming to writing, the art of writing. So we have to write every day for various purposes. Some may have the practice of, okay, writing a diary. How many of you write diary or journal every day, maybe whatever you do in that day? Do you write a diary? Or you have to write for professional purpose as well as personal reasons, right? But nowadays we have lost that art of letter writing. We just write an email, okay, or we just text message, and the English language has maybe changed in a way. Technology mediated language is coming up, right? We no longer communicate, okay, through letters. The art of letter writing and waiting for the postman to receive a letter, we have lost all those things, right? So you have to develop this writing skill, right? As part of English communication skill, writing is very important. Only if you read well and develop a lot of vocabulary, you can write properly. And how you can begin that? Have something to say, and that is why a writer, okay, in quotes, he writes something, he forms something in his mind and try to put it in words, a sense of purpose, what he's writing for and who is the audience he's writing for, and working from the first draft to the final draft, and editing it, refining it, proofread it. You just go back to it again, whatever you have read or whatever you have written, you may tend to change it, okay? So editing, proofreading, fine-tuning it, refining it is a process. So that's part of the writing process. And as I told you, writing itself is an art. Like speaking is an art, and writing is an art. Right? Everything is an art. Okay, you have to do it gracefully. So working from first draft to final draft, developing the ideas, a sense of direction. Okay, a coherent, okay, process, having a sense of where you start and where you end. Right, developing the ideas one by one. Okay, about introduction, the middle, body, something you have to substantiate with facts, and you conclude it. The craft of writing, organizing the content clearly in a logical manner, manipulating the script, using conventions, spelling, layout, and getting the grammar right. Right, developing sentence structures and linking ideas, and using a range of vocabulary. Right, so in a paragraph, you should have only one idea. Okay, you should give only one idea in a paragraph. Each paragraph should speak about only one idea. You don't try to confuse too many ideas in one paragraph. So in an essay, it is a combination of paragraphs, and each paragraph will have an idea, and that idea will connect with the other paragraphs, and it forms a good essay. Right? There should be coherence, logical sequence in those paragraphs. So you can link those ideas and using a range of vocabulary. So the paragraph writing, report writing, essay writing, letter writing will be part of your professional life. So I'll just show you some of the examples for formal and informal writing. And letter writing, most of you would have attempted letter writing, especially in a professional setup. You have to write formal letters. And what is the language of formal writing? How you should write formally, how you should write informally, how you should write when you write to your friend, how you should write when you write to your teacher or professor or to a manager, bank manager, or to a public official, how you should, okay, write, how the language should be written. Okay, that is what we'll be seeing some examples, and with that I will conclude. Right, language of formal writing, and what kind of style we should use. The style differs according to the purpose of the letter. Whether you have to use forceful style or passive style or impersonal style or personal style. Right? Sometimes you have to mix everything. Or for a formal writing, you have to use some personal style in order to persuade the person. Or you have to be forceful to get things done. And avoid overused phrases. And make your letter gender neutral. Don't always use him, man, okay? And you can use gender neutral words like chairperson instead of chairman. right? Chairperson. Likewise, we will see a couple of examples. I will share the course material from there. Can you see the textbook here? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See the tabulation here. Informal, informal. How you use words. Hi, we are putting me up your hospitality, right? Can you see those words? When I was in during my visit. Sorry is a casual way of saying. Please accept my apologies that I haven't returned for not writing to. When I got back on my return, workmates, colleagues, go on, proceed. Straight away, immediately, right? Very kind of you. Great that you're able to pass on. Can we see those words, formal and informal words? So these are some examples you can go through and try to do the exercises that will help you a lot to understand the content and help you to write your assignments well, okay? Try to do these exercises that are there. Just I want you to show some of these styles, okay, with regard to the purpose of the letter. Can anyone read? This is a friendly and personal style. If you can see the screen, at ICICI Bank, dear customer, it's a personal and friendly style, but it is a formal letter, mind you. Can anyone read? At ICICI Bank, dear customer. So it is a letter written to the customer. Can one of you read? Hema or Ronaldo Jackson. Can you see? So that's why we have recently introduced the one-stop single point fast. How does it work? See, it's simple. And all you have to do is head for the fast forward service counter at your branch and show your fast forward privilege card. So how you have to use a particular service, they are explaining in a friendly style, right? Okay, if you, these examples will help you to, so avoid these overused phrases. See, some examples are there. During the course of investigation, it should be mentioned that many people allow a few days to lapse. Instead of that, you can use the words like during the investigation, right? Many people, please wait before speaking with, please contact. Such words will be useful instead of overused phrases. Okay, if you have any questions, you can put in the chat box. See, this also I want to read one of this, right? An impersonal and indirect style, right? A very formal way of writing. I regret to inform you that we must reject your application for admission into our law program. We cannot accept your application because you were supposed to send it on or before July. So we have stated this clearly in our college catalog. We have also printed this information. So we make every effort to prevent late application, but before we cannot make any exceptions. We deeply regret any inconvenience associated with your reply, right? That's a very formal way of writing. Right. So go through these letters and try to practice writing letters. That will help you to master the art of writing letters, right? With this, I will stop. If you have any questions, comment in the chat box. I hope this session was useful to you. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can comment in the chat box. No questions? Okay, I'll share my number. You can WhatsApp me. I'll add you in the group. Prepare a presentation on the topic. Okay, I'm not exactly, I don't know what presentation you are talking about. Let me check the question paper and let you know, Mohammed. Then you can message me and I'll check and let you know. Okay? In detail, you can message me. I'll explain to you. Okay, since it is a recording session. Yeah, you can use A4 sheets. They have mentioned full scope. You can use the ruled full scope paper or full scope paper. Otherwise, you can use A4 sheets also. Right? A4 is also accepted. There's no problem. Okay. Thank you. Right. All the best.